What is up, Altcoin Buzz? This is Steve. Good Friday to you. And how are you feeling about the market conditions today? I'm telling you what, last night, right after I made my last video, I was thinking about making a video to tell you guys that I saw the market turning around, but I didn't have my caffeine and I started to feel my energy crash, so I decided just to lay off, And to be honest, I'm not clairvoyant, so even though the 1 hour was lit up green like crazy across the board, right around 11, 12 o'clock at night my time, I could have been wrong. So I held off, right? But I have to feel good, not that I was getting it right, but that the market is just humming today. So hello. All right, hello green, right? So I know some people are waiting for Bitcoin to get strong again. It's just kind of stuck around 14,000, and nothing wrong with that considering it was bouncing at 13 not long ago. Hopefully you guys are going to recover anything that you might have lost. I'm really happy about Ethereum. Dumb luck, just happened to hold on to some. I normally don't. I don't usually hold on to Bitcoin and Ethereum in quantity. I hold on to some Bitcoin just as like a holder. And then I buy Ethereum and more Bitcoin really just to get into altcoins. Because this is Altcoin Buzz. It's what we do, right? So what's your big wins of the day? I'm kind of peeling in trying to find out. Cardano, all right. I mean, it was up more than that not too long ago, but I'm happy to see it come back, even though it's dipped a tiny bit. So some of you guys selling for profit. Nice. I want to go over some news too. And I poured myself a drink. So I'm having a little bit of whatever this white monster is and some vodka. Not that vodka is my drink of choice, but it puts the work in. So comment below your favorite drink. I got to give it some thought, man. I think this year, although I said vodka is not my favorite drink because I'm definitely more of a bourbon man, Kentucky bourbon all the way, but I'd say my favorite drink of last year was the Moscow Mule, man. I had more of those probably than anything, and it's because ginger makes you healthy, That's my excuse, at least. All right, guys, let's take a look here, and we'll get into some news. There's some good news out there right now, right? We busted that FUD. I ain't afraid of no FUD. We busted that on the Korean exchange happening, so I think there's still going to be some legal crackdown, though. There's some shady bastards over there in Korea messing around with some money laundering. And I know some of y'all is guilty too. So, better be on the up and up and be on the lookout because Johnny Law will come knocking on your door one day. And we don't need guys like you ruining it for the rest of us. I don't know what to make of this Warren Buffett character, man. I used to look up to him, but now I just wonder. He's like, he should have just said no comment. Like what's wrong with asking Warren Buffett a question about something financial and him telling you he doesn't have an opinion? He'd have been better off keeping his mouth shut. But, so, I've been watching this new dude, new to me. You guys checking out this Doug Polk crypto guy? He's funny as heck, man. The dude doesn't even really give you any advice. He just cracks on people. He's roasting the cryptocurrencies, roasting the cryptosphere. So I don't know if I should feel jealous that he hasn't talked about us yet, or at least I don't know if he hadn't talked about me. But I kind of feel like he's the Weird Al Yankovic. He's definitely like the talk soup kind of guy. Maybe even a Ryan Seacrest. Better looking fellow than me though, but he's sure coming in short on the facial hair. So. All right, guys, let's get into some news. Here's one for you. The Russian Ministry of Finance is set to legalize cryptocurrency trading on approved exchanges. So, good, bad? You decide. I mean, I don't seem to have a problem with Russians coming in. More money in the market just kind of means it's going to get some influx, and that means that we're in sooner than later, right? And I think the more money that these are backed by, it just means that we're going to end up possibly having some more stability, which might set some of you guys off because some of you guys like tossing $10 into things and seeing some mad 10,000% gains so you can have like $1,000 or something from it. But try to be reasonable, guys. I mean, watching that Doug Polk dude roasting on those JR business kids, it was so justified and so deserved. I mean, I feel for him. He was speaking my language there. If you all know that guy, send him a shout out. Let him know I want to talk to him, dude. I just want to give him some props. Maybe play some beer pong or something like that. If my wife lets me out of the house. Don't tell her I said that. So it's got to be on Russia. Back to Russia. It's got to be on approved exchanges. And like, what a Russian concept, right? To not only tell you where to exchange, but I bet you the next thing they'll tell you to do is tell you how much to exchange. Half joking, but kind of that aside, it's better than nothing, because I mean, if they could have been banning it, at least putting it on approved exchanges is giving it a legal nod. So that's potential news, and that could be good for the market because their cash becomes our cash, and vice versa. So you got to watch out, right? They could be some sly guys coming into the market. So I didn't want to dig too much there, but if you want to read more stories like that, one good place to get news here is the Coin Telegraph. Let's go to another story here. This is kind of a wrap-up or some aftermath of what's going on with what happened in Korea. So, as you know, or you should know if you've been paying attention the last week, we had a little bit of market doubt, a little bit of sell-off, and then it got hit hard because there were threats that a Korean justice minister was going hard into the paint on trying to lock down the crypto exchanges in South Korea. And our friends over there in South Korea were making up like 40% or something. I'm just going off of what I kind of remember hearing, but like 40% of the exchange volume on these cryptocurrencies. And those guys were paying massive amounts of money, which, I mean, come on, if you guys are going to be out there like doing illegal activities, laundering money, don't draw that much attention to yourself. But so here's what's happened, right? People got pissed, and rightly so. We saw over $100 billion of money leave the market, and you didn't lose it unless you sold, right? Because you don't sell on the lows, you don't sell on the downward. So you hold, and we held. We expected you guys to hold, and maybe if you were smart, you snuck in some trades. More power to you. I got to tell you, for the most part, I held steady, and I don't regret it at all. Sometimes it's definitely harder for most people to play the downward market because of the overall pessimism that's in there. But, it's kind of like walking against the flow of traffic, or walking the wrong way at the mall. Sometimes you get there fast where you want to go faster, but, you're kind of a jerk on the way doing it. But, it's all kind of good. So these guys are collecting signatures and petitions here basically to lash back at this justice minister. But the presidential office out of the Blue House there in South Korea has said that they're not officially locking down any exchanges. So now the people feel more empowered. They probably would have spoke up had the exchanges been illegalized or shut down temporarily. So the fact that they're not gives the people a strong voice. If you're able to sign some of those petitions and you feel very similar to them, there's petitions ranging from all types of instances from, hey, keep the exchanges open, to let's kick this dude out of office who just tried to throw his weight around and lock down cryptocurrencies, because that dude costs us money. So untold yet, like out of the market cap losses, I'm not sure how much of that was actually hard-earned cash that was lost. Sometimes the market can go down and nobody really has to lose money necessarily, because it's all based upon trading volume over a period of time and the price that it trades at. So let's say it was really the early investors that had bought their coins at a very nominal price that sold their coins, and then they made a profit. And then everyone else who's in there, they could be down in their position, but as long as they don't sell, they don't necessarily lose money. So it's kind of interesting. If you guys haven't studied up on how market cap actually works, it's easy to understand how it's calculated, but once you kind of understand how it creates it's not a total cumulative deposit into the market or into a particular currency. So that is something you need to understand, and that's why prices move so much. The market can go down $100 billion without $100 billion of market capital having to actually be removed from the market in total, because if the trading volume and the price indicate that there needs to be a recalculation of a coin's value and then it gets multiplied versus the entire circulating supply, it's going to adjust that without, it can go down $100 billion and let's say $20 billion came out, for example. So it doesn't mean that $80 billion vaporized. It's part of speculation, and speculation's fine, because I've seen some people, like, let's go back to that Warren Buffett guy, the guy who's still trying to use a rotary phone to get dial-up on his typewriters, and he's probably excited that frickin' Ripple's signed up with MoneyGram because he's probably still sending telegrams to people and fetching things and then drinking from certain water fountains and public establishments because they're cleaner than the ones the other people drink out of. He's a little old school bastard. So, but that guy was saying that cryptocurrency is purely speculative. It has no value. It's vapor. The market's going to crash. It's not based on anything. Well, it shows you what he knows, because what the heck are stocks, dude? Stocks are financial backing. You're giving a company income, just like we're raising venture capital for these startups here in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. We're venture capitalists. We might be looking at ourselves as investors, but to these companies that need the startup funds, we're their angel investors. And we're doing it in a Kickstarter style, like Indiegogo, Kickstarter, where they're coming to us with their projects and they're saying, hey, here's my timeline, and I can't give you the end result necessarily, although some of these projects are freaking awesome. I recommend you look into the tech behind some of these. And I want you guys, when you're investing, to take at least a portion of your portfolio, whatever you think it is. Look at what you think is the coolest tech that would make a difference in your day-to-day life, whether it's on the entertainment spectrum, your work, your finances, your security, your health, you name it. Find the ones that are going to solve one of your personal problems and put some of your money into those if you haven't already. I hope some of you guys already had. Now, the rest of it, your arcade tokens or your fund money, your trading power, whatever you want to have, put that into something else. Like, you have some of your account flexible. Just like when you get in any type of mutual fund or 401k, none of them are perfectly stable. They always have some amount of risk that's being wagered, but they have a different amount that's factored and based in tried and true and steady currencies or stocks. So to think that stocks themselves aren't speculative is ridiculous. And also to think that that a stock has any value, any more value than a cryptocurrency, is further ridiculous, because try to give somebody some of your shares out of your Charles Schwab account without having to sell them back onto the market. It doesn't quite work that way, right? Or try to directly swap your shares into shares for another company on an exchange. You gotta usually go back to fiat currency and then back into it. You can't do a like-kind exchange. And that's another reason I think that potentially the United States tax system and the recognition of not considering it like-kind exchanges of coin for coin is a potentially flawed concept, because if cryptocurrency is money according to one organization, then how can it be considered property according to another organization, and so on and so forth? I think, honestly, just a little rant here, and Friday night and a little alcohol as I'm getting halfway through my drink, entitles me to a little bit of rant. Why? Because I said so. But I feel like those organizations are really just trying to get their hands on it. They're going to say bad things about it, and all of them are looking at it through their own individual lens with the solution in mind, which is identifying and making it a problem, or making it something that can be regulated by their agency. So that way their agency has importance, and then they're going and analyzing the situation with only that end goal in mind. This is my opinion, but you have to see that it's probably happening that way. Somebody wants to be the first to hang their shingle on top of locking down cryptocurrency in the U.S. market and giving us the whole big "I told you so" or that's what I did back there. If you do that, you're really not going to be any more important in future history than the same dingbats who decided to create prohibition and legalize alcohol in the United States back in the early 1900s, and then all the fallout that came beyond that. I mean, sure, common everyday people may have stopped drinking as frequently as they did before, but look at the rise in organized crime and things like that happened. Look at Reagan's war on drugs, for example, that took place. Are drugs a bad thing? Absolutely, right? Is alcohol healthy? No. Hang on a second. I got too much health to go around. I got to kind of weaken it a little bit. I'm tired of all that. So those types of regulations that come in really just end up taking the activities, pulling them out of the public eye and putting them into private places where people do what they will do with all types of ill means. And then it becomes an unsafe place for people to invest their money. If you think that cryptocurrency is this crazy place that everyone out there is just buying heroin from the Silk Road and picking it up at their local FedEx Express or something like that, or having it dropped off at their door by a Lyft driver who delivers packages for Amazon Prime on the side, then you're a little bit misguided, because it's everyday people like me and you that get together with the support of not only a little bit of a dream that somehow we can create a little bit of wealth for ourselves, and I have. I hope you have too. That's that's part of what strengthens our camaraderie. I'd like to think that you guys just like Jeff and me and Shaylin and Shosh, but some of it has to do with the fact that we are somewhat euphoric. And thanks for sticking in there when the market was down. We should be all excited to see where this market goes from here, because it's probably all up. But don't be afraid of the minor corrections. People are, for the market to have swung up about $80 billion since yesterday, people are going to start taking their profits. And they're probably going to start taking their profits first on the coins with the biggest amounts of gains. So I'm rambling a little bit here, but this is kind of how I get my point across. It's like therapy. I come and vent to you guys. I get stuff out of my system, and I sleep better at night. And I sleep. Yes, we sleep. We even take days off, if you'd like to believe that. But it's therapeutic, and it helps us build a connection with you guys. You're our friends. And speaking of friends, a lot of you guys apparently live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Now, the whole team doesn't. Actually, not one member of Altcoin Buzz actually lives probably within 1,000 miles of each other. So, and the actual distance, I'd have to look at a map, but the actual distance between team members is actually pretty far apart. And even though we've all done business together, only a few of us have actually met face to face. It's like I've met a couple people, they've met the other, and so forth. So we have like this circle of which we've created this commonality, and we've worked on other projects together. We just have a good cohesive teamwork and a lot of similar interests, so it's just it's a good flow. So when we both got excited about it, we found more people that got excited about it, and then we figured out, like, let's just start talking about it, dude. Nobody's talking about this stuff. Let's have some fun. Let's just get out there. And I tell you, even though sometimes they say those that can't do teach, I've got to tell you that being the teacher, if you will, or the speaker, causes me to have to do more research than I would as the casual investor. So I encourage you guys to do more research. You don't have to understand and study all 1,400 and something cryptocurrencies. Good Lord, man. It went up like 23 more currencies since the other day. So even in a crap market that we had, there's currencies flying onto the radar. But we're trying to do cool things. We've got interviews going. Shosh is out there doing face-to-face interviews. He's completed his second or third one for you guys. We're talking with teams that are launching ICOs, sometimes before the public sale or the private sale, other times during, but we're interviewing projects that we find interesting so we can do the research and figure out if it's something that we want to get invested into. You don't necessarily have to go and make those connections yourself, but we bring those opportunities to you guys to make sure that you have the same information that we have. I don't think there's ever been really a time that I've had information on something about a cryptocurrency that I didn't feel like jumping on and sharing with you guys. We talk on a frequent basis, and we just want to let you guys know we appreciate you being there. If you want to check out our other communities, or you're not already a part of it, get on to Twitter. You want to be on Twitter because we are at AltCoinBuzzIO, and that is where Jeff drops a ton of knowledge on you guys. So we'll dive right in. And if you want to hit the bell there for notifications, you'll make sure that you get a little pop-up notification on your cell phone each and every time throughout the day. We publish notifications about coins that are hitting the run, tips for newbies, and other various videos that are out there, advice from other great speakers. Gary Vaynerchuk is a great person to listen to if you ever need a little bit of pick-me-up throughout the day. Gary Vaynerchuk, even though he's a little bit egotistical, he still seems like a good-hearted guy. I've learned a lot from him in terms of positive attitude. I'm not perfect, man. I am not perfect. And anyway, so back to 5 minutes ago when I mentioned Phoenix, Arizona. If any of you guys are looking to get into a meetup, comment below. Let's figure out what we can do. Let's keep it somewhat civilized. maybe just have like a little trunk party in a parking lot, or I guess you'd call that a tailgate if you drove a pickup truck. Meet up for appetizers or something somewhere. You guys are buying, of course, but let me know. It's something we could potentially make happen here in the near future. This is Steve from Altcoin Buzz signing off. You guys keep chill.